All right, what up, everybody? This is Sightings on 18 Wheels live show. I am Game Vet. You have Green Man here. We have
Hello.
our friend from our previous episode. I can't talk today. KO is back in the house. So
Hi,
I want to
Hey.
welcome everybody.
how are you?
All right, good. Welcome back.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you back again.
For sure, long
Last
time.
time we had you on, you had the highest rated show ever on my live streams. So wanted to thank you for that.
Wow.
And you were definitely brave to come forward and to, uh, you know, saying, I don't want to, I want people to watch that episode again if they don't know who you are. So we are definitely brave into being the first time uh, to explain what happened to you and what your, where am I trying to go with this? I'm like lost right now. Uh, I'm just appreciative that you came forward on the last show, um, coming forward and what happened to you and what experiences you're having. So
Yeah, I'm shocked. So never thought that would happen, and I think it's necessary though. So
right.
I don't know. I almost feel like there's more to it because of the possibly, I don't know, if more people would. There's so many people getting together, but if more people would get together and bring everything to the table. I don't feel like anything's being studied really properly.
Hmm.
If you don't discuss like all variables,
Right. Yeah,
how
you
are
can't
we going
do
to really
research without talking
have
to
chance?
people about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
Same
I mean,
token.
I hear other shows, other big shows, like people that claim they're radio personalities and stuff like this and that, and oh, I've been doing this for years and da 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 da. I mean, I get it. I'm not a journalist. I'm a truck driver, but on my show here, I like to share what I see and what I hear, and and I hear a lot of the same types of things with a lot of people, and I love to hear about it and try to learn more about the subject because honestly, I mean, I'm kind of clueless when it comes to the paranormal. Really, I mean, I've seen some of the ghost shows and this and that, but I'm just in awe and fascinated at the same time when I hear people, oh, I've heard of that, and this happens to me and stuff like that. I'm just like, wow, I'm kind of blown away by it.
Right. I'm in the same boat. I
Yeah.
don't I don't know either. And I really haven't found any. I mean, I don't know if it's because I haven't researched as much, but I haven't heard as much as I have everything else. Um, what's happened to me to other people. I really haven't heard a lot of examples of of it. You
Okay.
know.
Did you want to did you want to share some things that are going
Yeah,
on?
I kind of, as I told you, I haven't shared it with anybody all the way through. A little, maybe an incident here or there, especially when other people were afraid of my houses at that time.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so I don't feel like I was doing anything to attract these experiences to me, but this was like over it feels like much longer ago, but it was over a decade ago now. And I was so the only thing about my home at that time is that I was told that it was the oldest place in my town, and this was in New York. I also lived in the Hudson Valley, so that's like another thing, which has a lot of experiences, UFO related, reported in the Hudson Valley big time. But I didn't know about any experiences UFO related. I didn't know about anything at that time. I wasn't on the internet. I didn't talk, this wasn't a topic in my life. And then I lived in this place. And so weird things like baby birds would start popping up from, like, there was a walkway, a hallway down my entryway. And I'd be sitting in like the foyer, and all of a sudden a baby bird would come popping in, and there's no possible way. There's no, there was no way. And this happened on a couple of different occasions, and no idea still to this day where they could have possibly have come from. So that's how it started. And this is a lot. Like, I guess it's a lot more than I realized. I didn't think it was too much, but apparently it's a lot to explain. So it just gets weirder and weirder. I have the huge experience at that place, where I have this experience, and I swear to you, it's not a dream. Maybe I don't want to go into that yet. That's a huge experience that I had. But I did experience sleep paralysis with that. And I will get to that. But some of the obvious instances in that place was being touched by, like, okay, once on my nose. It was very cold. I know that sounds crazy, but that was after I'm laying in bed one evening, and I watched down the same hallway that these baby birds come from. Up towards the ceiling is this really, like, grayish, dark, though very dark, like not gray to the black spectrum, like a foggy mist looking thing coming down my hallway and above me eventually. And the same feeling that I had, like, I need to go to sleep right now. Like, why wouldn't I wanted to keep my eyes on this thing floating above my head. I knew this thing was not okay. I knew it wasn't good, but I wasn't, like, really freaked out.
So it was just a great
and I had to go to sleep, and it was in. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just sorry to interrupt. Hey, I just wanted to be clear that it was like a mist or like a fog type deal.
Yeah, it was like a mist, and it was like a black mist, and it was moving down my hallway towards the ceiling. Like, it was hovering towards the ceiling, and it moved down my hallway and hovered above my bed. I watched it move, and wow. And, like, when I spoke to you guys before, and I said I had to, like, go to bed, and I really didn't know why, I feel like I should be staring at this thing still, UFO outside. I felt the same way about the mist above my head. Like, I'm going to go to sleep now. And I'm having that conversation with myself beforehand. Like, I don't feel this is normal for me to want to go to sleep right now.
Right.
And
You think
boom, I'm sleeping.
Do you think it felt like something was telling you to think like that?
Why am I questioning it? Yeah. Okay. And why am I going to sleep anyway? There's this thing over my head,
Yeah. That's like I don't know if you heard me talk about my last UFO sighting, and my wife actually saw it with me, and something was telling me to look out the window. Like, I never look out the window ever, and it's like I had a compulsion to actually walk up to the window and open up the curtain and look outside. And when I did, there's that ship like 2 blocks away, right? And I said, "Honey, come here, look at this," and she says, oh, "What? An airplane? You see an airplane outside?" I said, "No, come here." And I was getting my phone out as she was walking around the bed to look, And she opens up the thing and she says, all I see is lights. And I said, you don't have your glasses on. As soon as I hit record on the phone, and she says, oh, I see some lights right there. And as soon as she said that, the lights turned off, and this thing, I shit you not, it just disappeared like in thin air. And I didn't capture it on my phone, but that sighting would have broke the internet.
I feel you. That's how I feel about mine.
You know what I mean?
I do. I know exactly what you mean.
But I mean, I thought it was very odd that it's like I had a feeling like something was telling me to look out the window. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, it's kind of like the one sighting I had when I was a kid. You know, I'm sitting there in my living room staring at this damn thing in the front yard, and I'm like, I need to get back to bed. It's not go get a camera, stupid. You know, it's nothing like that. It's like, yeah, I need to get back to bed.
Yeah, maybe like a serious defense mechanism too.
Right.
Yeah. Your brain saying you're not ready to deal with this. Just you know, pull the covers over your head and forget about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. So then what happened after that? He just
okay, yeah, there were like 4 places I lived in consecutively, and this was the first. I was touched on when my bed was in that same location that I had that experience. I was definitely touched on my nose by a very cold finger or thumb or something, I thought, that's pushing down on me and it's freezing. And I thought, that's crazy. Like, you don't tell people that, but I knew. I moved my bed, just moved it to a different location. And I was having very strange dreams, but when I was laying on my side, I was grabbed by that same cold hands now, and it moves my hips like very fast backwards. I probably shouldn't even be saying that, but that's the only 2 times I know that I was specifically like touched. And the other crazy experience I had in this place, I was laying down, but I had an experience that I felt was so real, where I was like shown the world on fire, and I can see like every pine. Well, at first I can't see anything, and there's something like behind me that knows that without me saying that, and like shoves me closer, and it comes into focus, and it's the world on fire. And this is over a decade ago, and I can see like a specific pine tree. I just recall that looking so clear in my vision, and I was horrified. And whatever the thing is behind me yanks me backwards, and it's like so fast, it's not normal, the speed that I'm going backwards. And I like come to in reality. I like my eyes pop open, but I can't move. And that's the only time that I've experienced sleep paralysis. But I didn't know what that was at that time. Like, I never heard of that. I never heard of anything.
Did a doctor confirm you had that, or?
No, I just heard about it since.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so that's what that is when you wake up and you can't move and you're freaked, bleep out. You cannot move, so you can't move. You can like move your eyes, I guess.
Yeah, but you can't. Yeah, your whole body's like numb or whatever, or frozen. You can't move.
You're paralyzed temporarily for whatever reason. And they say now when I hear that, not often, but when I hear that now, I'm like, BS, that is normal. That something's happening to those people too.
Right.
That's what I think anyway.
Right.
And so I know that's like the major crap that's stuck with me for so many years is just that stuff, you know. And I know it's crazy like this, which now I move here and this is happening. So I mean, so much weirder shit has happened to my world. You know, that was just the beginning.
So
And
do you,
uh-huh.
do you
Please
think
say
that,
whatever.
do you like ever experience deja vu? Like, do you think that what you
Mm.
saw was part of like what's going on with the fires that are happening now?
Well, I mean, how can that not cross my mind?
Right.
So I would love to know the answer, like more now than ever. You know, like what is
Yeah.
happening? Are other people experiencing this? I put that out there and one person has responded,
Hmm.
but you know, I don't know. It, I think that person like I don't know. I don't know. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, I know with my I don't want to keep talking about myself, and I gotta stop doing it. But with this ear
I wish you
infection
would.
thing, with this ear infection thing I have going on, the past couple nights it's been really hard for me to sleep. You know, because it hurts so bad. And I finally got to sleep last night. But the first dream I had was the creepiest thing I've ever seen in a long time. Well, since I saw that flying trash can with the face on the side. It was this girl with this kind of almost like light bulb size or light bulb shaped face. Okay. Real white looking girl. She was probably, I don't know, 4 or so. Blonde hair, and her forehead was like really huge. But then, you know, her cheeks kind of came down really kind of sharp or whatever, and she kind of had a pointy little chin. But her eyes, you remember those caramel candies? You know, those round ones that I know my grandma used to have them. She's
Oh,
like,
the
"Oh, that's
Werthers,
candy."
the Werthers.
Yeah,
Oh
right.
yeah.
Now picture
My
those.
grandma too.
Okay, now
I love those
picture. I don't
things.
want to creep you guys too much, but this girl in my dream, she had those candies, or it almost looked like glass, but it was that same color in her eyes as eyes, right? And the
Delicious.
only thing the girl said to me was, "What's wrong?" And then I woke up and my head was pounding,
Oh Jesus.
and I'm like, "Oh my god, that was creepy."
Huh.
I'm like, "What's wrong
Oh.
with me? What's wrong with you, Jesus?" Holy cow! That's something
Oh.
I don't need to see ever again. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's weird. This stuff, I don't know, it's kicking up. It really is. So,
Have you ever heard of those what it screen images, I guess? I've heard
screen.
like aliens giving you like a false memory or what have you.
I've heard of it. I've never had it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Watch The Fourth Kind. I That was such a good movie.
I think I've seen that one. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
I have enough in my life, honestly. I I almost don't want to watch that stuff because
Yeah.
I
I
was
feel
in my
that way
garage
too.
a couple weeks ago just having a smoke, right? And all of a sudden, this was at like 3 in the morning. Okay, nobody's out here. I live in a townhome complex where everybody's asleep at like 11. Okay, I think like all the older people live here and stuff like that. I was sitting in my garage, and all of a sudden, at my garage door, which was maybe 6 feet away from me, I heard bang super loud. Then there was like scratching on one corner of the garage. It sounded like the scratching was halfway up the door, just like holy crap, what the hell is that? So then I just put the thing out and I went inside. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to know. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going there. But I mean, luckily I didn't go outside, you know, because normally I just go outside and whatever. But yeah, it's creepy. I don't know.
Yeah, I forgot to say, I think I said before, like, that I was having, like, I had the electricity checked out so many times. That was that
Yeah.
place. because my lights were flipping out.
Yeah, I
And,
know.
you know, when you see somebody else that's older than you at that point, that like knows everything about that stuff, get freaked out, you see their expression and their experience after you've experienced it so many times, and you know something's got to be wrong. You know,
Mm.
something's not right. Hopefully it's not like brownouts. That's what I was thinking. I was just getting like major like light shows flickering like on and off, and it was just messed. You know, it was intense.
Mhm.
What in the heck? You know,
Well, I
what's
know.
happening? This is not normal.
Well, I know the
Why
last
are
time
we
you were
getting like strobed out? You
right.
know?
I know the last time you were on our show, you were saying that you were having electrical problems like that, and
Yep.
in your video feed, it was actually changing colors. It was actually going from red to
Oh,
blue, and I was like,
yeah.
"What in the heck is that?"
No, that's my fireplace.
No.
Like my TV stand. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing at that point. So I was like, you know, I did not know what you guys could see.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm like, wow, he is having some really
until
bad
I
problems.
saw it, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Well, Green Man, he was having some sort of oh, what did you
Oh,
sent me a video about that?
the
Yeah,
electromagnetic frequency.
right.
Yeah, it was one night, and my pup Igor, started acting really weird. Didn't want to stay in the living room, and I have this thing on in the living room. Got it. Just mess around if I ever went anywhere, just kind of check things and whatnot. And when I got it, of course, I all around the floor of the house and everywhere checked, see what normal was. Well, yeah, Igor's freaking out, and so I grabbed this thing, turned it on, and put it on the ground, and the thing just pegs out. And I've checked the same spots like plenty of times before, and they're always it's like nothing. Maybe a little bit, but not really anything worth the crap. But the entire living room floor was just maxing out this meter.
Yeah, that was nuts. I wonder.
And yeah, it's like the next day it was, about half as much. And then the following day it was all gone. But Igor still, he gets to these weird kind of, he doesn't want to be in the living room.
ooh,
He'll go hide in the kitchen, in the bathtub, in the bedroom. He, he just doesn't want to be in the living room. And it's weird, random times, and he just, he gets this look on his face like, he doesn't like something, and his tail gets kind of tucked between his legs, and he just kind of scoots around and will go find somewhere else to get comfortable. But
Yeah,
I would not be happy about that.
yeah.
My mom's dog was going through that too, and she actually approached me for not like wanting to be, you know, really getting that deep into topics that scare the baby boomers. Um, she definitely came to me every time she had a question about her house being haunted. You know, like, is there something wrong here? Do you think? Do you think? Because the dog, like, it was the bathroom of all things, or the basement, because they were right next to each other. The two doors, one of the other bathrooms, it would like not go past these two doors to access the rest of the house. And so you had to like either carry her, or sometimes like she would finally get up the muster and just book it, you know, and then slide and crash into the other side of the house eventually. That's how freaked out she was. I mean, she was terrified of that spot. And you
Yeah.
know, the cats are always looking up, and we've definitely lost people. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I've never felt like really scared in her house or anything.
Yeah.
You know, she lost her father, so hopefully she's just being protected or something.
Hmm.
You know, but I mean, my stuff got pretty creepy,
Yeah.
and you know, uh, it was like, as far as I recall, and have like kind of counted, it was 4 homes in a row, and yeah, it got to the point where I realized like you just don't wanna. I don't know, like that stuff can be like it scares grown men. Like my next place, it was in the same town. It was an old Victorian house, and beautiful. And I would hear this happened in my next two places. I would hear the rattling of the doorknobs in my house, the bathroom in both the next two places, and somebody in my next place, the Victorian house, hardwood floors, walking late at night. And so my ex was on my couch, which it was in the middle of the room. So somebody could actually walk behind it, but there's nobody there but him and I. And he, you know, freaked out one day, and swore to God there was a huge guy like covered in tattoos staring at him from the back of the couch, looking over the back of the couch, like glaring at him, and it freaked him out. He came running,
Wow.
really freaked out. And I'm like, that is whoever is walking on the floors at night,
Yeah.
like from the kitchen across the living room to my bedroom. And so that was that place.
So did he see the
Really
full apparition?
not
Like,
too much. Yeah, that was something. I definitely believe him. He's never said anything before or since.
yeah, I mean,
And when
I've
somebody's scared
witnessed,
shitless,
right. Like I've witnessed a tree. Like we had a fake tree in our apartment, and I've witnessed the fake tree, the branches move like somebody was walking past it, brushing up against it. So the branches like moved sideways, and then they came back, they bounced back to normal. But we didn't see anybody, but the tree just definitely moved. Like somebody brushed up against it and was walking right past it. And
Mm,
yeah, I mean, try explaining that one. Me and my wife, when we weren't married, we weren't married at the time. We were sitting on the couch watching a movie, and all of a sudden, the tree moved. We're like, okay, you know. I mean, you can't explain it. I mean, but yeah, it's nuts. That's amazing though that your ex could see the tattoos and
yeah, I was gonna say it's good that when you experience it with somebody, actually,
yeah.
and
Well, then
my
that's
friends
crazy.
kind of went through the progression of those places, and the next place was the place that just scared the ever living. Like that one scared me. Like that couple, Lorraine and whoever her husband was, who
Ed and Lorraine.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I felt like had I had known about that stuff, probably that's who I may or may not have called, because I really don't want whatever's in there to come out at me really any more than it is. So yeah, I never did anything that I know of to make this stuff happen. But I think I also told you guys that when I experienced the next place, friends like told me that the town is like seriously haunted. It's known for being haunted,
Hmm.
which was Saratoga Springs,
Oh,
New York.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, you know, um, but not looked into that too terribly much. I experienced it. I don't want to look into it, really.
Mhm.
I'm still interested, but that place was crazy. So one of my friends is like he's a fighter. He's a champion fighter. He's
Hmm.
huge. He's, you know, no one anyone wants to really deal with. And this guy would not go in my basement.
Really?
I mean, he got so mad at me one day. Probably like the ego thing or something, but he went ripping out of there pretty mad because as much as I know about he's experienced something young, something that scares him so badly, and he gets really angry when you when you want to know more about it. He does not want to talk about it.
Hmm.
He feels like it brings it to you, or he's afraid it will. Like
Hmm.
something scared him when he was young, and he was deadly afraid of my basement. Um, so this place, I had the same thing. Like the doors are rattling, the doorknobs at night. Uh, Everything was okay at first, but then like, all right, so one New Year's, friends were around, and I put out like extra beds for everybody, and I was out there. Out there is a fireplace, so I had a fireplace in my living room, and so one night I was laying there like in front of this fireplace, and I'm like, oh, this is so nice, right? This place is so nice,
Mhm.
and everything is beautiful. Well, oh my God, I've
Hmm.
never heard noises like that in my life.
Yeah.
Like, and it was coming from like the depths of this fireplace. And I swear to God, like, I can see a witch from my dreams when I'm a little kid. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I don't know, but worse than that, like, whatever was in there was not okay. And it's like a whole bunch of different noises and like entities and shit.
Mhm.
And it's not all right, dude. And it sent me running back to my room, and I don't know how in the hell I lived there so long, like on my own. So that's what I was telling you. Like, you have to kind of pretend like you're all right. I felt in this house, like
Yeah.
that's when I started feeling like I needed to protect my soul or something, you
Mhm.
know? All right, so like speaking of that basement was so weird. God only knows what went on down there.
Mhm.
These places are so old, and there's like old, just weird, weird tables, weird other rooms, like the dirt floors, and everybody was creeped out by that basement. But
Mhm.
one day there's a painting there, and a friend of mine, we bring this painting up. I've been down there so many times, and I don't even know why. Just exploring it, and I don't know, wanting to know the history, knowing something's wrong with it, and wanting to know what kind of. Um, that's like back in the day when I was so naive, you
Mhm.
know. And I guess I feel like I must have been, because I would not do that twice. I would never, like I would never move I would never put myself through that twice.
Yeah.
Um, Holy
Now,
shit,
when you're in the house, do you
my
say
heart's racing.
now when you're in the house, do you ever say like a prayer or say that to protect yourself with the white light or anything like that? Or
Oh, that all came later.
okay.
Like I like my After that is when I started having the UFO sightings, and I felt like I was having weird dreams of aliens all the time. And like I already dream wicked vividly. A to Z, I remember everything, and it's really weird. Apparently, because I just feel like nobody really dreams like that. every night.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know.
So what's the most what are you experiencing like right now? I know you were saying like a lot of things are kicking up and all that again from
Well,
before.
I hope not. I mean, all I was referring to was knowing that you had mentioned orbs. I
Mhm.
have seen one before, but that's when I was meditating.
Okay.
I kind of like lost my spot. So, like the meditation, the veganism, the spirituality, like big time, that all came after. And I started having like the other side of it, like the sightings and the aliens side of it. Um, I guess I don't know if it's the alien side of it or is it just like UFO side of it. So just a few UFO sightings and becoming a lot more spiritual. And I feel ESP too. Like at that time, when it first started, like the experiences first started happening in that first house, the ESP in my dreams, I just felt like got so much stronger, and it hasn't stopped since.
Really?
It's always been that way, I guess, since I was a kid, but it just became like on a whole nother level, you know?
Have you has anybody ever tried to contact you? Or do you feel like you've been contacted?
You mean by like
Uh,
extraterrestrial type?
yeah, or
I have no idea. I have no clue. That's why I said like I've thought about regression just because I kind of feel like in this lifetime I need to know something, you know? What was happening? You know, why was I seeing those things? Why did I experience that stuff? Like it was a progression, you know, of experiences.
hmm,
And just going through this with you, I told you I've never gone through this with anybody before.
yeah,
And so it's choppy and not smooth, but I'll never forget it. Like any of it. It's with me, you know? So solid.
right. Yeah,
It'll never leave.
I'd like to have Dark Hour on here sometime, and you as well, and then you could talk to him about
Right?
what you're going through, and then maybe he can shed some light, or he'd have a different opinion on stuff too. Get his opinion on what he thinks. What you're going through and things like that.
That's awesome. I mean, I feel like I never want to. I've always been afraid of like things following you, like hearing those stories where
Hmm.
things follow you. I mean, ever since then, now I like since those experiences, I've been into the internet. You know, I
Yeah,
was anti technology for as long as I could be, but
yeah.
it's just in me. I'm a
Yeah,
rebel, I guess.
honestly, I
Uh,
try not to. I try not to think about it because I know whatever spirits are around me. I know they follow me, but I try to put it behind me, just because I don't want to know, what's going on. And it seems like the more I look into it or try to, talk to them or whatever, it seems like more and more stuff happens at home, and I have to keep my daughter safe and my wife safe and stuff like
mm,
that. So I just try to put that on the back burner, because my wife doesn't want anything happening here. So, but I think I've narrowed it down to when I lived at my apartment. The apparition I saw, I actually saw an older lady standing by my TV just before I was getting up to go to bed, and she was standing there staring at me. And I think that was my dad's mother, my grandmother, that I knew up until I was 5. And my dad always told me the story that she loved me to death, and she'd do anything for me and stuff like that. And my dad was kind of jealous because he said that she it seemed like she loved me more than him and this and that. And I really do honestly believe that was her. Now, what happened recently here last week, I had what I wanted to say is a ghost cat jumped up on me in my bed. And we had a cat staying over at the house. We were taking care of it, and it passed last week. And then last weekend, Saturday night, Sunday morning, when I went to bed, I was still wide awake, but I laid down and I felt a cat jump up on me right behind my back, and it started kneading the bed. And I put my arm back there. I said, "Oh, hey, kitty," because we got a new kitten, and there was no cat back there. And I turned around. I turned my light on my phone. There was no cat in the room at all. Then I turned around, laid down again, and all of a sudden I felt the bed, pushed down again, and it just stayed pushed down. And I put my arm back there again, and there's nothing there. So I do believe, most of it's family, but as far as like the stuff moving in my basement, I don't know who would do that. I don't know who that is. That might have something to do with that voice I heard. When I heard, I was just sitting down, and all of a sudden I hear right next to my ear, "I hear you." I have no idea who that was. So I do believe there's different spirits that are out there, that are hanging out. Maybe they just like you. They like, they think you're cool, funny, or something. But you just never know. That's why I try not to get too close to whatever it is, you know, if that makes sense.
For
I,
sure.
I have a handful of questions. Uh, Ko, is your mom ever said any? Well, you were saying that she always comes to you for haunted house questions and stuff, but
Hmm.
has she ever kind of like maybe mentioned about feeling things or picking up on things and environments? Because it kind of sounds like you may be sensitive, and it kind of
Yeah,
usually
I
runs in
think
the
I am
family.
to her. I think she is to me. I think I think we are. I think we like I feel like everybody is though. Supposed to be. That's my guess. My
Well,
true feeling.
yeah, some a lot more than others. And you could, I mean, if you're sensitive, I mean, that's would explain why you've always kind of like you were saying, even as a little girl, you always had kind of these same kind of feelings. And then as you're getting
Yeah.
older, they're developing and they're getting stronger. You know,
Ooh,
uh, you know, and as usually with like poltergeist cases, they usually seem to happen when there's like a teenager in the house. So the theory is that it's not really a ghost, but it's a mental ability that these teenagers have since they're going through this hormone rage of puberty and everything. It's out of control,
oh wow.
and that is what is actually causing all the activity. Is not a ghost; it's their mental abilities out of control, throwing things across the house when you take their phone away or some, they can't go to the party or some stupid shit like that. And I would imagine, you don't ask a lady her age, but yeah, as you go through different hormonal stages, for females, it could also flare up even later in life, around certain hormonal change times. Then you could get more and more sensitive. So that may be also, why things just seem to be increasing. Um, one of the other questions,
I think you might be onto something because I mean, I don't if you look, I'm not going to say exactly, but if anyone knows like I looked up moon cycles before, there's something to that. Like, I'm completely connected to the cycles of the moon. And it's crazy. If I'm not connected to one, I've always had like an imbalance. So if it's not one cycle, it'll be another. It'll be a third quarter or the full for years, you know? That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Well, you may want to start kind of like keeping a diary when things happen.
Yeah, it
That
is.
way, when
It's
you've got tracks, so when your moon phases are strongest, if things are also going on more, you can kind of line that up and put a little bit more of a scientific, kind of research edge onto the thing, and that could help validate, what's going on.
Yeah.
Do any of the same activities follow you from place to place, like the black mist? You were saying that the knobs were jiggling in a couple different places.
yes, and it did. And okay, so that there was a fourth place, and I don't know if I'm trying to like ignore it or what, but yes, I'm trying to ignore it. I don't want anything to do with like any of this stuff happening to me again. If I saw that thing again, I don't know if anything, if that is what's happening, I don't know if anything could force me to sleep again. Like I might have to jump out the window or something.
Also,
You know, on a first floor, I mean.
do you burn sage now, like white sage?
Oh, you know, I thought about that in the fourth place because that's when I started like becoming way more, I don't know. I started meditating 24/7. I started seeing a Reiki teacher every week. I couldn't stop meditating. I was vegan. I would never go back. Like I will never go back. I know that. And yeah, the dreams just continue becoming intense. I don't think like I say it all the time, like half joking, but I'm only half joking because this stuff, like I experience this weird stuff all the time. And it's not until somebody's like around me or the people that are around me that notice it, you know? It's
That could very
so
well
I'm
also
not
be one
saying
of the things that's helping is, you're purifying your body, you're meditating and,
yeah.
clearing out your mind. That's going to eliminate a lot of the little
And putting like a white
mental,
bubble around myself of
Yeah.
protection
yeah,
constantly.
that kind of
Just
clears the
like
pathway of all the obstacles to make a better connection to, other ethereal planes, so to speak.
Yeah.
I believe in energy, man. There's so much we can't see, and there's so much like we're lied to about that it's almost like a joke. Everybody knows it's going on, but nobody's willing to like figure out what all is happening, what all is possible, you know? And I just want to know who else is experiencing like what I am. Am I alone in this? I've always wanted to know that. Like, is anybody else seeing that black mist coming? You
I've
know,
I've
yeah.
heard a lot of cases where they describe a black mist, like a shadow, black shadow that
Yeah.
doesn't really
Oh,
have
geez.
like an
Oh,
amoebic kind of shadow that floats, across ceilings or
Yeah.
things. You may want to look into what is it? The Hat Man, which is
oh,
like
yeah.
a shadow person that wears a hat. There,
I
that's
don't think
kind
I
of
heard of
tied.
him.
Yeah, that's kind of tied into some of the shadow stuff. Where was it?
I've heard of
I
shadows, like,
I
Yeah.
and
think
I
it's on
felt
Amazon.
things pressing on my bed at that fourth place, so I know about that
Yeah.
game vet. The pressure on your bed, like,
Right.
you
I,
know.
I think Amazon Prime has got a pretty good like little documentary on the Hat Man. So if you look up Hat Man on Amazon Prime, I think that I'm pretty sure it was either that or Netflix because I watched it on one of the two. But yeah, I've definitely heard of the black or really dark gray mist.
Yeah. I've seen shadows in the corner of my eye before. I've seen them right down here, honestly. It's
Well, I thought any minute I was gonna see something in that fourth place, and I definitely do not want to, if it's whatever.
Yeah, I definitely
You know?
understand that feeling as well, because the place I grew up, it never really, nothing moved, never saw anything, but in the basement there was a door that led right underneath the house, and it gave me the fucking creeps. I didn't like being down there at night. I would be, when I was a kid, I'd be down there and play, screw around and play for hours and be fine, and just out of nowhere just get this something staring at me. I need to get the hell out of here feeling. And I look at that door, and it was almost like the door would stare right back at me. And here's the crazy thing, how you were talking about talking to others and helping you realize you're not the only one. A couple of weeks ago, I'm talking to my older sister, and out of nowhere, this is when we were kids, I'd tell her about UFOs or Bigfoots or something, and she'd roll her eyes at me, and so we never talked about and I never really got into ghosts with her. A couple of weeks ago, talked to her, find out that she's been on all these damn ghost hunting trips, and all this. She's been to what was Tombstone, got all these crazy pictures from Tombstone. And I said, I sent you a bunch of them, Game Vet, and I'm like, okay, well, let me ask you about the house we grew up in. She's like, okay. I'm like, what did you think about downstairs? She's like, I hated being down there. She's like, I always felt like I was being watched. She's like, it was always creepy down there. I never wanted to be down there. And she's like, especially that door. And I'm like, okay, which door? Yeah, the one that went underneath the. I'm like, okay, she's talking about the exact same door that I always got the creepy vibe from.
Holy crap.
And I'm now I'm like, I'm half torn. It's like the smart ass investigative side of me wants to go back down there, talk to the people who are living there now, and say, hey, you ever see anything and you feel anything? Mind if I go down there real quick? Hey. But the other half of me is like, stay away, stupid. If that thing remembers you, it might, oh yeah, I remember this little asshole, and follow me home now. So I definitely understand that. I don't want to mess with that again, kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's, oh my God, there's so much that I feel like they know that they're not telling us. Like, why is it? It's always seemed to me like this is what I started thinking. Like, that there's experiences for sure. Maybe if you go back 100 years, then maybe you're gonna experience something. That's what I was guessing back then, because I was told the first place was the oldest one in the town, and then they're all like, beautiful older homes that are like 100 years old. So that's what I thought, but I don't know. I've never really known.
A lot of things can go down in 100 years, and places can, absorb energy.
Right.
Just like things can.
Right.
That's why you have the, Robert, I think it was Robert, the haunted doll, Abigail, and things take on an energy,
everything is energy,
right.
It's like you put into it, you can put
Vibration.
into you can put into an instrument, you can put into a home, and it's emotional instances and events that it's a strong environment. Some of that can rub off. Some of the ghosts, some of the activities, major, just recurring visions from the past that are just kind of like hitting replay on a tape.
Yeah. Like a record. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Maybe, you know, that's what
Um,
the footsteps are, is that's what time somebody came home every night. And, you know, there was the big tattooed construction worker, you know,
I mean, I don't know,
he
you know.
walked in, he chased his kids off the couch every night, walked across the hardwood floor, and, you know,
Well,
that
do
might
you
just have
ever
been his
hear
routine.
they tell you things in movies? I've heard, you know. Um, and if that's true, then it reminds me of the others, you know. Somebody's in my house. I
Yeah.
mean, who knows? Are you in purgatory and I don't know. It's like we're supposed to figure something out. Something's supposed to be figured out, I feel. Like we should have this knowledge. Why do we sleep? Where are we coming and going from? Why are we here? Like the basics.
I watched it was on Amazon. I'm pretty sure this was on Amazon Prime. It was a pretty cool documentary uh, about called First Contact. And I mean, this guy was a character. He's been doing it for years. You know, I don't really know exactly how full of shit he is or not. I mean, he's entertaining when he does his little lectures, but it's this guy that, you know, claims to be able to channel this alien. And yeah, he sits there full seminars channeling this alien, talking to everybody, cracking jokes, you know. But they put him on you know, all these sensors. They you know, put these sensors to measure his brainwaves and everything. And when he says that he's channeling this alien, that his brainwaves do change. You know, but it's, you know, it's the same thing. He's
That's
kind of, you know,
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's,
I think I saw that same thing actually. I think. I mean, I've seen something similar to that.
you know, but in there,
Um,
yeah, he's talking about, you know, it's all connected. And one of the lines that I liked the most about, I think it was pretty sure it was from that, was that he said that uh, we are not alive on Earth. We're alive in heaven and dreaming that we're in hell, which is here.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to go back for that. I love it. Wow. So I'm sorry, who said that?
That was supposedly the alien being channeled through this guy.
Oh, right, right. Wow. Oh, okay, that's cool though.
I think what the alien's name, I think he said, was Bashar or something like that. I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, the shark.
Bald guy, you know, kind of does this little hand thing when he's sitting there. He does this thing and he makes these kind of goofy faces. But yeah, whether he's really talking to an alien, I don't know. But you know, he does have there is a physical change going on with his brain.
Yeah.
And you know, there
Wow.
were things, you know, there were things that were just like, well, that's kind of, how did he really kind of know this and know that? But a lot of the things that he was saying were, you know, actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So,
But
Yeah,
there
I need to check that out. I'm not sure if I did. I love it. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
stuff like that I don't know, because there is a lot of paid bullshitters too, though, you know. Like
Yeah, that's getting on my
yeah,
nerves actually.
yeah.
And I've never heard anything like of what I've experienced, and I feel like I've trapped myself into one of those people now for just like spilling my guts about my, you know, as best as I could with my heart and my stomach like wrenching.
Right.
You know, that you know, progression of, you know, events,
Right.
which
Well, there's
is
nothing
to
wrong with
me something. There's something going on. There's something to that, and it's impossible that I'm the only one.
it. Right.
I
And
it
you're
has
not,
to be.
yeah, you're not the only one. It's that's why I like to talk about this stuff. I know how you, I have my weird experiences like all the time, and some
I
people
don't
think I'm
even
absolutely nuts. What's that?
I don't even care, and it's like a good feeling,
Yeah.
because I mean, shit, I just went through Armageddon. I felt, you just get these strong feelings that pull you in certain directions,
Yeah.
and emptying that out and figuring this out to me is really important, you know?
Mm-hmm. And so we got to
If
stay
black
together.
helicopters are over my house tomorrow, I'm gonna be like so happy.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Yes. I told you. I'm
Yeah, I
just
know you
kidding,
were
dude.
fighting to get away from the fires. That's what you're talking about too.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, my sky was I watched the progression. I was out in it of the smoke just engulfing all of the sky and the air, and then it started ashing, like snowing ashes,
Uh,
big time, covering everything, and it smelled like you were in a huge campfire. It's pretty scary.
yeah,
Like you have to drive out of your state for fresh air. It's kind of
right.
scary,
Oh yeah.
All you can do is stay in. I mean, I was grocery shopping and it started sprinkling. So I got pictures of that too. It covered everything. I mean, it took me hours of cleaning and my hands were black.
Mm-hmm.
So it was crazy. It was crazy. It was
That's
real. And
crazy.
then it snowed. 70-degree drop. Sorry, Green Man.
Yeah.
It's nuts what nature can do.
Oh my God.
When Mount St. Helens blew back in the 80s, my grandmother was living in Spokane, Washington, and other side of the state, and she sent us like big coffee cans full of ash that she had shoveled out of her yard. So yeah, nature can be very cruel when you piss it off.
Right.
Well, it hasn't been like this in history, has it? Like this many storms in history like this?
Well,
It's everywhere.
every 25,000
Seems
years
like.
or so, the Earth goes through an ice age. That's
Oh,
just,
for sure.
that's just it's
I
it's
mean,
just a
other
cycle.
than other than that.
It's a
Yeah.
cycle. Honestly, I've been in San
Yeah,
Diego my whole
it's
life.
got to be that.
I
Sorry.
remember feeling hotter when I was a kid at summertime than it does now.
Yes.
Yeah.
To me, I don't. It's just the polar ice caps. We're 25 years between ice ages at this point. Usual cycle is every 25,000 years. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Something's gonna happen. I mean, we
Can
went
you
from
believe
like,
it's in your lifetime?
yeah, we went from like 95-degree weather to 40 in the past couple days. I mean, it
You
was like,
too.
yeah, 95 degrees during the day, and then at night it dropped down to 40 degrees just like that. It's like, holy Christ.
Yeah,
We
we had
went to snow below 36.
Right?
Sorry. Yeah,
yeah,
it snowed.
yeah. We had a crazy patch right at about the same time. You got snow, we got sprinkling rain. And 2 days before it's 100 at the beach.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was
Yeah,
100
yeah.
in Denver.
It's like it's 100 at the beach, 113 inland here in San Diego, which is not really all that normal. Next day was manageable. Day after that was really rocking, and then it was what the hell, sprinkling. Yeah.
It's nuts.
I blame HARP.
Yeah. Damn you, HARP.
It's them up in Alaska screwing with things.
Right. KO, I had one more question that I wanted to ask you. Do you ever see like the same number a lot? Like, I'll give you an example. Like, okay, my first car, it had on the license plate, it had a number 5 on it. When I moved, like my first address or my parents' address had a 5 in their address. And then my apartment, when I moved out of my parents' house, it was apartment 5. And then Like I bought my boat and different cars and stuff, and they all had fives in it.
Is she
And
gone?
then I don't know, maybe
You there, KO? I think we
she must
lost her.
have. We must have lost her. Well, that sucks. Well, maybe she'll come back on here. But yeah, do you have that anything like that happen where you see the same number?
Um, not necessarily the same number, but I do. It will be like certain times around certain times that I'll wake up at 4 o'clock or I'll wake up at 5 o'clock. It's more of that kind of thing, not necessarily certain numbers,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
something weird. While we're waiting for KO to come back, hopefully, one weird thing that I used to kind of see, and this was only for a few years while I was like late teens, early 20s, is I started seeing police light bars, flashes, red and blue,
Mm-hmm.
before I came up to accidents. Yeah, the first time was really, really kind of the really freaky one. It was me and my mom and my girlfriend at the time coming back down the hill from Ramona, which is a mountain area here in San Diego, and night. It's dark, winding road, no lights out there, and just ice. Out of nowhere, no cars behind us, so it's not like a reflection hitting the rear view or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a police bar light up real quick,
Hmm.
and it was gone. And I'm like, I just had this feeling. I'm like, Mom, slow down a little bit. You know, she's like, why? I'm like, just, I don't know, just slow down a little bit. And so we come up to this hill, and it's almost a blind corner. It's a pretty quick turn. We come up, and as we are right at the peak of this turn, right as we go around, there was like a Ford Ranger that had just rolled over and was on its roof, blocking the road. And we were like the first people there on scene.
Really?
Yeah, and so that was the first thing. And my mom's like, drive it, keep who's we get done there, and we start driving again, and she's like, okay, why did you tell me to slow down? I'm like, I kind of saw this. And she's like, really? Yeah. So she's like, okay, all right. So I started thinking, and it kept happening. I'd be like, Mom, slow down. She's like, did you see the lights again? I'm like, yeah. And within a couple miles, we'd come up on some kind of accident or something. And that happened for a few years, and it just kind of faded off as I got, mid 20s. So, like I was telling KO, that kind of follows like the hormone kind of trail,
Mm-hmm.
coming out, late teens and 20s, right around 25, 26 or so is when it started kind of like petering off and disappearing. So,
Yeah. I hear you, man.
well, it doesn't look like we're going to get her back on.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just typing her back. There's always next time, KO. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's okay. I just put the link in the live chat there. If you guys have any paranormal stories to end the night up here, we always like to hear your stories too. I like to share mine, but I don't like to share a lot of them just because I don't want you guys thinking I'm totally nuts. but but yeah, I think it's kind of fun though. Hearing hearing what's out there, what you guys are experiencing, and at the same time, I do like to share, that way more people can learn what's going on and what others are going through at the same time. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was really strange, though, the ghost cat. But because my kitty cat that we just got is really tiny, but when the bed pushed down, I felt like a bigger, cat. Like
Yeah.
you could physically feel the mattress push down, and then the kneading right next to my shoulders. I could actually feel the physical paws push down. That was nuts.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I just think I was telling you one time, Groucho, my first pup, when he passed, I was, laying there in bed, and I felt him, I heard him, his feet going through the carpet, and he was 70-pound Great Dane Lab mix. He was a big boy,
Yeah.
and that that was what he did at night. When he came into bed from the living room, he walked in, he walked up behind me, sniffed me, kind of like checked everything out real quick, made sure it was all cool, and he laid down on his bed. And that I felt him come in and do all of that. I could feel, it's like, when you could feel somebody walk into the room. I felt that, along with hearing his feet on the carpet, up to the bed. I even heard the sniffing me, everything. It's they may leave your sight, but they don't leave your side.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. It really does.
So
yeah, it's good. I'll post this up here. KO says she implements a ton of prayer and meditation. So that's good. That's a good thing to do. Like I said, always try to, before you even enter the house, surround yourself with the white light, and you and everybody around you, pets and whatever, anybody that share the house with you, make sure you share that. Yeah, it is. It's a very powerful vibration, and I think that'll really help. And then, like you said, Green Man, you can take sage and actually, it's up to interpretation, I guess. You can burn it or, create a barrier.
don't smoke it.
Yeah, don't smoke it. But you could create a barrier around the floor in each room, and that way you can be protected as well.
One other thing I would say for KO is I would recommend she try and find a good medium in her town and talk to them, whoever it may be. And they may be able to give her a lot of advice and tips and help as to how to control her sensitivity.
Right.
And protect herself from anything really trying to attach itself to her.
Yeah. I wonder if we can actually get Chris Garcia on this show. I don't know if it's possible, but I'd love to. Either KO, you should call in sometime when either Manny, UFO Buster Radio has Chris Garcia on, and talk to him and see because he's what is he called now? He's I forget. There's a special term that he is. I forget what it is. He's a psychic, but there's another term he calls himself. But he's very, very good at what he does, and he actually did a couple readings with me, and I actually had my phone actually took a picture by itself when I was sleeping during the day, and he discovered that there was 3 people in this photo that he looked at, and it's very strange. But it was him and a couple other psychics that looked at this photo, and they all came up with the same thing. And then on top of that, I had a couple readings with him, and he was dead on to what I was going through at the time. So I really suggest you do that as well. Talk to Chris Garcia. So
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted on that too. But yeah, he's very good, very, very solid, and there's
Yeah.
no BS.
Yeah, you can find him on Facebook too. He's pretty active on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah. I'll even post a link in this video here after it's done, so that way you can find them easy. And then I can post on Discord too as well, the UBR Discord. So with that, I think that's it, Green Man.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't see nobody else has got anything, and Chuck Bam says it seems common. Man, I can't talk today. It seems common for cats to come back for a time or two. Yeah. I mean, I can totally understand that. Maybe it was because I even told the wife, I said, I feel kind of bad because I had to work, and she dealt with the cat when I was gone. And I said I kind of feel bad because that cat was like my buddy. I didn't even get to say bye to it, and
Yeah.
it was just that same day is when I felt the bed move and all that stuff. So it's kind of like, wow, was that really the cat coming back to say bye? So it's gonna, it has a lot of meaning behind it to me. So
Well, the Buddhists believe that there's a period that the spirit stays around to tie up loose ends, and I can't remember if it's 21 or 41 days, but yeah, there's this period where little things are supposed to get wrapped up and squared away before you go.
mhm. Yeah,
I guess if you can see just a life is a life, then why wouldn't that roll over to animals too?
right.
There's been a lot of like that that clip that I put in the Discord chat the other day of the little ghost dog following the lady and walking her dog at night. The lady who caught the camera on her, or caught the footage on her home camera, talked to her neighbor with the dog. Just and found out well, the lady had just recently had a dog of 15 years pass away, and it kind of reminded the little shadow that was in the video, kind of reminded her of him. So you get attachments, man.
Yeah. Well, sometimes too, I don't think the spirits are all that bad. The ones that hang with you, because they're actually hanging by you because they like you for some reason or another. And if you're not having anything bad happen to you, like if you wake up and you're not scratched and you're not bruised, and you haven't been for years, I don't think there's really much to worry about. It's when you have to start worrying is when you wake up and your pillowcase is full of blood, or stuff like
Yeah.
that, deep scratches on your arms or legs or whatever. But like I said, that guy that I heard, I had my headset in my hand ready to play a game, and he says, "I hear you." That was basically him saying, "Yeah, it's time to chill out and play a game and just relax." I hear you, man. I mean, I say that all the time.
Yeah,
So,
and that may be one of the things to get them, the spirits of hanging around is sometimes they just want to tell their story. Something, this happened to me. Somebody's got to know this before I go.
right. Or they know that you can hear them talk. Or
Yeah.
they know that you're a witness to whatever they're doing.
Yeah,
So
you're sensitive to their activity. You're the one that's, you can feel me, you can hear me. You're the one I got a bug.
yeah. So they're trying to communicate with you when you're freaking out. You're like, oh my god, what the hell's going on? My door's banging and whatever is dragging, but it's like they're trying to communicate with you because they know that you can hear them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like what we were trying to do with the ghost hunts. You know, I put up the recorders. And I was saying, hey, what do you want? What, you know, what's your name? What are you doing? You know, stuff like that. I mean, if you honestly want to know, but I don't condone it or whatever. But if you want to know and go that far, you could just set up, because you can use your voice recorder on your phone. And if you don't want to ask questions, if you don't want to invite anything over to the house, you know, or anything more over to the house, you can always just hit record, leave the room, you know, do whatever you have to do, go to work or something. Just have it record while you're gone. Maybe it'll talk, you know, maybe it'll just talk into the recorder on its own, and then you can hear what it says later on.
Well,
Because I actually was using that that joke. I found out later on that it was a joke voice box,
oh
and it
yeah,
would
the
just
spirit
say
box one.
random. It would say random stuff. Well, I was talking to one psychic, and they were saying that actually it, you know, if the spirit wants to, it can still communicate with that, and it can manipulate it to say certain words that it wants you to hear. And what I thought was very fascinating about that is I had the voice recorder and it was saying all goofy stuff or whatever. And I set it up and I said, okay, well, I just want to see what this thing's going to say. What it, you know, if I just leave the thing here and I leave the room. So it was kind of rambling on and on. And I hit record and I StreamYarded. I didn't post it. I probably should one of these times just as a joke. But as soon as I went up the stairs, you know what the thing said to me? Or it
What?
said to the computer?
Huh?
The first word it said after it went up the stairs, it says, lazy. How messed up is that?
You're just sending this thing down here, man. You're not even gonna stay with it, dude. You're
I should post that. It's in my thing. I got it. But it's the funniest thing. I mean, I maybe recorded for 15 minutes. I just wanted to see what it'd say, you know, without me there. And as soon as I went up the stairs, it says lazy. Oh, I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, on that note, I think we're gonna hit it.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I'm working on this intro, guys. Sorry it didn't work, but it's not up and going right now. But I want to thank you, Green Man. I want to thank KO for coming out.
Yes, thank you, KO.
Yeah, it's awesome. I always love to hear your stories. I know you got a lot more. So you know where to contact me, and I always have an open ear to hear about it. So you know, do some constructive criticism. So. And that goes for everybody else tuning in. My email's in the about page or whatever you call it on this channel, and you guys are more than welcome to get a hold of me. So with that, it's been a good night. I want to thank Chuck Bam, and
Chuck.
Chuck Bam is in the house, and then we had a few other people in here. We had Jocko Johnson in here,
Jocko.
and who else was in there? It doesn't go that far up. But you know who you are. And then we have a couple other people watching. I don't know who you are, but thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. We had a couple new subs, and I appreciate that. And make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I do appreciate it. It's what keeps me going on. So thank you guys. I'll catch you next time. Thank you, everybody.
Later, man.
Bye. See you, buddy.